Hello students, in the last class we were discussing about the last concept related to the electrochemistry chapter, that is all regarding to the batteries, and we have also explained the two different types of batteries. In that, first important one is the primary batteries, which are also known as non-rechargeable or use and throw batteries. For that primary batteries there were two examples for your syllabus that also we have completed. One is zinc cadmium battery, which is also known as popularly known as a dry cell. Second one is mercury battery. And second type of batteries which we have also seen, that is secondary batteries, or we can also call it as reusable, or you can call it as a rechargeable batteries. And similarly in secondary batteries also there were two examples for your syllabus, that is a lead storage battery, and second one is nickel cadmium battery. And most probable questions on the batteries also I have explained. One might be the dry cell or another might be the lead storage battery also. And third important types of batteries are generally called as fuel cells, and this is asked for 3 marks in most of the times in the annual examination. Fuels are generally called as advanced batteries, or they are also known as eco-friendly batteries. I have given the diagrammatic representation along with the anodic as well as cathodic as well as the complete reaction, and the product obtained during the reaction in case of fuel cell, that is water molecule, so therefore it is non-hazardous to the environment. Hence these cells are generally regarded as the eco-friendly batteries, and maximum 70% the utilization can be obtained, which means they can work up to 70%. That also we have explained. And other than that, the extreme end of this chapter was the information regarding to the corrosion. So we have defined the corrosion in the as the slow coating of metal due to the formation of oxide, which means there will be an formation of upper layer on the surface of the metal due to the formation of oxide, and this formation of oxide takes place due to the presence of oxygen present in the atmosphere as well as the water molecules, right? So which is in the form of moisture. Generally if you see in case of terrace or in case of staircases, so there will be a formation of coating on the upper surface of those metals. So whatever the iron rods which were kept outside, so after some days, which means there will be a formation of a brown color coating, you can observe that one. That is mainly due to the presence of oxygen which is present in the atmosphere as well as the water molecule which is present in the atmosphere in the form of moisture. They make the metal ions to oxidize due to the removal of electrons from the metal surface. So therefore what happens, there is a formation of coating which can be observed, is generally called as corrosion. Always remember, it is a slow coating, means the reaction is very slow. It will not take place within 5 minutes, so it may take up to 30 days, 1 month, yeah, it may be take 4 to 5 months in case of the quality metals also, right? And there are some examples for the corrosion for your syllabus. In that, first one is rusting of iron, second one is tarnishing of silver, and third one is green color coating on the surface of copper and bronze. But for your syllabus, the complete explanation regarding to the rusting of iron can be seen. This rusting of iron is nothing but conversion of Fe into Fe oxide. There is addition of oxygen due to the presence of oxygen and water molecule in the atmosphere, right? So that's all we have learned in the previous classes. In the today's classes we'll explain the corrosion. In that, the most important example is the rusting of iron. We'll explain what is rusting of iron and what is the anodic and cathodic as well as overall reaction, and what is rust, the molecular formula of rust also we will see. And further we'll try to solve 2 to 3 problems based on the calculation of change in Gibbs free energy along with the help of the Nernst equation. Nernst equation also will try to calculate the EMF of the cell. So for example, here if you consider an iron rod, if I draw this diagrammatic representation, if I say assume this as an iron rod, so it consists of Fe ions, right? So the iron is nothing but there is an Fe ions, right? So Fe atoms, generally it is in the atoms, and whenever there is an influence of water molecule like H2O or the presence of O2, that is atmosphere of oxygen, whenever it influence on the surface of this metal iron, so it will liberate the electron. This iron molecules or iron atoms whatever present in the iron rod, so they will eliminate 2 electrons, right? So then what happens, it oxidizes, which means it is generally converted into Fe plus 2. Those molecules or those atoms will generally convert into Fe plus 2, which means there is a formation of ion. Initially it is a neutral state, which means Fe is generally converted into Fe plus 2, right? So this is mainly due to the influence of a water molecule, or it may be due to the influence of oxygen present in the atmosphere. Even in water molecule also you will get oxygen. So therefore there is a formation of this Fe will convert it has chance of converting further when it react with oxygen molecule which is present in the atmosphere. So this might convert into, right, so this might further convert into Fe2O3, right, so that is generally called as Fe2O3, right. So here, so this Fe2O3 is generally called as a rust, that Fe2O3, which means it is an oxide form of iron. So that is the oxide form of iron. Here if you observe, so this is an iron rod, so which means iron rod consists of the iron atoms. So whenever on the influence of water molecule, there will be a formation of ions, that is there will be a liberation of 2 electrons from the iron atom, and it will convert into Fe+2. Further, on the addition of oxygen which is present in the atmosphere, it is generally converted into Fe2O3. This Fe2O3 is generally or popularly called as rust. For example, this is very simple. If you take Fe, right, so this Fe in presence of water molecule, so it may convert into Fe+2, right, so it will convert into Fe+2. Further, in presence of again water molecule, that is H plus and O2, right, so H plus ions and O2 molecule, that is oxygen molecule, it will convert into Fe2O3, right. So that is a formation of rust, right. So that is very simple explanation regarding to the rusting of iron. Initially iron was pure, but the atmospheric water molecule which is present in the form of moisture, on the attack of this water molecule on the surface of this Fe iron, so it is generally converted into Fe+2. So further, on the addition of the more amount of oxygen molecule which is in the present in the atmosphere, and it is converted into Fe2O3. That Fe2O3 is called as rust, and this is one complete redox reaction. This is mainly due to redox reaction, and this is very slow reaction because it will not take place within minute or within seconds. It will take more than 1 month or more than 15 days. So therefore it is slow reaction. So these type of slow reactions are also called as a non-spontaneous reaction, right. So spontaneous means a sudden reaction or a quick reaction, but here in this case the reaction is very slow. We will call it as a non-spontaneous reaction, right. So if you want to write the reaction which takes place in case of anode and reaction which takes place in case of cathode, in anode what happens, the Fe is generally converted into Fe+2 by liberation of 4 electron. So here we can balance it by 2 and 2, right. So if you take 2 molecules of Fe, so there will be a liberation of 2 moles of Fe by the liberation of 2 electrons. So this is generally called as oxidation. There is a removal of 2 electrons. This process is called as oxidation. At anode the oxidation takes place because this Fe in case of iron rod behaves as an anode. So therefore whenever there will be a removal of electron from Fe, so it will convert into Fe+2, and the process is called as oxidation. But in case of cathode, so the oxygen present in the atmosphere acts as a cathode. So therefore oxygen, right, so which reacts with 4 moles of H plus ions, that is H plus ions which is present in the water molecule, that is hydrogen ion, and further by the addition of 4 electron which were given by the anode, which were given by the iron, so it is converted into 2H2, right. So due to the addition of 4 electron, this process is called as a reduction, right. So therefore oxidation takes place at anode because this Fe acts as an anode, and the reduction takes place at cathode. There is addition of 4 electrons which were given by the anode, and if you go for the overall reaction, right, so if you go for the overall reaction, we can also write the overall reaction, that is Fe plus O2, that is anode plus cathode, plus H plus ions. So from the water molecule it will convert into Fe+2 plus 2H2. There is a formation of water molecule. Further, if you balance the equation, so here it will be 2Fe+2, 2Fe+2 and 4H plus, right. So that is the overall reaction in case of rusting of iron. You can also write the anodic and cathodic reaction, or you can also write the overall reaction. It can be asked for 2 marks. Be careful with the question. Explain rusting of iron or the anodic and cathodic reaction, right. So this can also be asked for 2 marks. Write the anodic and cathodic reaction in case of rusting of iron, and overall reaction is Fe plus O2 plus 4H plus ion. It will convert into 2Fe+2 along with the liberation of 2H2, right. And here, so the molecular formula of this rust can be generally given, which means this ferric hydroxide, so which is formed, that is Fe2O3, that is ferric. Since there is addition of 3 oxygen, this charge will be, right, so +3. So Fe is in the form of +3, so therefore it is generally called as a ferric, right. So whenever it is reacted with a water molecule, that is generally we'll call it as X moles of H2O. Generally we call it as X moles of H2O. So it is called as a hydrated ferric oxide. Remember, so whenever it is along with the water molecule, because here you can observe this is an X dot X H2O, which means it is hydrated. There are water molecules in case of this ferric oxide. So therefore ferric oxide along with water molecule is generally called as hydrated ferric oxide, and this completely will call it as a rust. For example, if you take Fe2O3, that is 5 moles of H2O, right? So Fe2O3, that is dot 10 H2, 10 moles of H2O, like this. So how many number of water molecule attached to it is generally called as X moles of H2. Generally it is termed as, right? So this is called as a rust. Very simple phenomena. Rusting of iron is nothing but the slow coating on the surface of the iron, and it is converted into ferric hydroxide. So here if you observe, there is an iron rod. On the influence of water molecule and oxygen present in the atmosphere, it is converted into Fe plus 2 ions by the liberation of 2 electron. Further, on the addition of H plus ions as well as water molecule, oxygen molecule which is present in the atmosphere, it is converted into Fe2O3. This Fe2O3 is generally called as rust. But again, if you continuously go on adding the water molecule from the atmosphere, then it is converted into hydrated ferric oxide. It is generally converted into hydrated ferric oxide. If you go for the anodic reaction, here iron acts as an anode. This iron can convert into iron ion by the liberation of electron. In cathode, what happens? So oxygen which behaves as an cathode, and there is addition of 4 H plus ions from the water molecule, and by the addition of 4 electrons which were given by the anode, it will generally convert into water molecule. So therefore we can write the overall reaction in the form of Fe plus O2 plus H plus ion. It will convert into Fe plus 2 by the liberation of 2 moles of H2O, and Fe2O3 in the form of XH2O is generally called as hydrated ferric oxide, and here it may be in the form of Fe2O3 5H2O. That is an example, Fe2O3 10H2O. Based on the number of water molecule which are reacted or combined with the ferric oxide, we will call it as a hydrated ferric oxide. And this is all explanation regarding with the rusting of iron, which can be asked for 2 marks in the annual examination. Okay, that completes your third chapter, that is electrochemistry, and further we'll go for some of the problems which can be asked for your annual examination regarding to the Nernst equation also, and regarding to the Gibbs change in Gibbs free energy, that is standard Gibbs free energy during the reaction also, right? So we'll solve some questions, right? So I will write first question. So that is the problems on electrochemistry, right? Right. So the first question is, calculate the delta naught of G, that is standard Gibbs energy during the reaction. So for the following reaction, they have given one reaction. So for that reaction, you have to calculate the standard Gibbs free energy for the reaction, right? So the given reaction is Fe plus 2 plus Ag plus will generally convert into Fe plus 3 plus Ag. And some of the given information regarding to the problem is, so given that is E standard of the cell is equal to plus 0.03 volt, and they have also given the Faraday value, that is equal to 96,500 coulombs, right? So this is the complete information given regarding to the calculation of delta G naught for the reaction. In this case, they have given two important values. One is E naught of the cell, and second one is Faraday value, EF value, right? So according to the solution, first we must write the formula for the calculation of delta G naught, and also we have seen that one, that is delta G naught. So during the reaction, that is delta G naught of R is equal to minus N F into EMF of the cell, that is E naught of the cell, right? So this was the formula for the calculation of delta G naught. That is a relation between the Gibbs free energy as well as EMF of the cell we have seen, right? So once you go back and observe the formula, that is delta G naught is equal to minus NF into EMF of the cell. As I have already explained, N represents the number of electron, F represents the Faraday value, and E naught represents the EMF of the cell, right? So during the reaction, here you can observe Fe plus 2 is converting into Fe plus 3, which means the difference is only 1 electron. Right. Similarly, Ag plus is converting into Ag. There is also difference is only 1 electron. Observe. So therefore, the N value is equal to 1. Why N value is 1? So it is the change in the number of electron whenever it is converting into reactant to product. Here Fe plus 2 is converting into Fe plus 3, which means there is only difference is 1 electron. Therefore, the N value is 1. That is minus 1 into Faraday value they have given already, that is 96,500. into the EMF of the cell also they have given, that is 0.03 volt, right? So if you calculate the overall value, I will get is 2895 joules, right? So by the help of calculator I can calculate this one. 96,500 into 0.03, that is equal to 2895 joules, or I can also write it in the form of kilojoules also, that is minus 2.895 kilojoules, right? So this is the answer, whatever you get at the end, right? So this kind of question might be asked for 2 marks for your annual examination also. Calculate the standard, that is the standard change in Gibbs free energy during the reaction. They have given one reaction, this Fe plus 2 plus Ag will convert into Fe plus 3 by the liberation of Ag. So, and they have given some of the information regarding to the problem, that is EMF of the cell, that is E naught of the cell they have given, that is plus 0.03 volt, as well as the Faraday value, that is 96,500 they have given. And we know the formula, delta G naught is equal to minus NF into EMF of the cell, and the number of electrons transferred during the reaction. Here you can observe in case of anodic reaction also, or you can observe even in case of cathodic reaction also. Here in case of anodic reaction, what happens, Fe plus 2 is converting into Fe plus 3, difference is 1 electron. Similarly Ag plus is converting into Ag, there is also a difference of 1 electron. So therefore N value is taken as 1, right? So like this we have to calculate the standard EMF of the standard change in Gibbs free energy during the reaction. Next we'll go for the second question, that is calculate EMF of the cell for a reaction, that is nickel plus 2 moles of Ag plus will convert into nickel plus 2 moles of Ag, and they have also given the EMF of the cell, that is E naught of cell is equal to 1.05 volt, as well as they have also given, that is nickel having the concentration of, nickel plus 2 is having the concentration of 0.160, and silver ion, that is Ag plus, having the value of, that is 0.002, that is the concentration of nickel plus 2 is 0.160, and concentration of Ag plus is also 0.002. Once again I will read the question. Calculate the EMF of the cell. Here we have to calculate the EMF of the cell, that is EMF of the cell for the reaction, that is nickel plus 2 moles of Ag plus is converting into nickel plus 2 by the elimination of 2 moles of Ag, and they have also given the E naught of the cell, that is standard EMF of the cell is equal to 1.05 volt, and the concentration of nickel, that is equal to 0.160, and concentration of Ag plus is equal to 0.002. Since they have asked you to calculate the EMF of the cell, we must write the formula for the calculation of EMF of the cell. They have given 2 electrode, one is nickel as well as another one is silver. So therefore total EMF of the cell, that is E cell is equal to, we know the formula, E naught of the cell minus 0.059 divided by N into log of concentration of nickel plus 2, that is a product divided by reactant, that is Ag plus 2. Sorry, here it is Ag, right? So here it is Ag, right? So nickel plus 2, that is Ag, and one thing you have to observe here is, so we have to take the coefficient here. Since Ag is having the coefficient, so we must take as a square, right? So because this Ag has the coefficient, nickel doesn't have any kind of coefficient. If nickel has a coefficient of 3, I would have taken it as a cube, nickel cube in terms of product divided by reactant. So therefore nickel is having the, right, so coefficient of 1, nothing, if there is nothing means it is nothing but 1. So therefore I will take it as nickel plus 2 raised to 1, right? So I can write it as raised to 1. So but in case of here silver, I have to take this coefficient as the power, because in terms of mentioning of the product divided by, we have to write that if you take A moles of A, that is B moles of B, that will give C moles of C, and D moles of D. We have seen that Kc value is equal to, that is C raised to C, D raised to D divided by A raised to A, and that was B raised to B, like this. So therefore we have to mention this coefficient as the powers. So therefore I have taken here as Ag plus square, Ag plus square. Please remember here the mentioning the square is very important, because if you don't mention the square, the value will alter and the overall result will be wrong. So therefore here observe the reaction, nickel there is no any kind of coefficient here. So but in case of silver there is a coefficient 2, so I have to take this as a square value. Therefore total EMF of the cell is equal to E naught of the cell minus 0.059 divided by n into log of Ni plus 2 divided by Ag plus the square. So here I will input all this value. EMF of the cell they have given is 1.05 volt minus 0.059 divided by n value. Here if you observe, nickel is converting into nickel plus 2, means difference is 2 electron. Here 2 Ag plus is converting into 2 Ag, which means the difference is 2 electron. Therefore the n value is 2. And log of the nickel concentration they have given, that is 0.160 divided by the Ag value they have given, that is 0.002 the square. Again I will explain why we have taken square here, because Ag has the coefficient. Even if the nickel has had any kind of the coefficient, means I would have taken as a power, that value is taken as a power. So therefore here further calculation, 1.05 minus 0.059 divided by 2 into log of, right? So this is same value, this is same value, and here if you multiply 0.002 the square, that will convert into 0.004. It's generally converted into 0.004. So here you can divide this one. Rough work I will do here, 0.160 divided by 0.004, right? So I can write it as 10 raised to 3, right? So I can convert it into 10 raised to minus 3. 0.004 means I can write it as 4 into 10 raised to minus 3. I can write into 4 into 10 raised to minus 3. So therefore whenever I take this 10 raised to minus 3, so here it will convert into 10 raised to plus 4. General will convert into 10 raised to plus 4, right? So by calculating this in rough work, so I can write it as a log of 4 into 10 raised to 4. So that becomes, so here you can cancel, right? So 0.002, if I square that one, that will become 0.004. So this is 1 time, this is 4 times. That is 4 times, because it is 4 times, right? So 0.004, 4 4s are 16. So further there is 1 0, I can multiply this to 40. So here 0.160 divided by 0.004, if I divide, this is 1 time and this is 40 time. So therefore here what happens, so this 10 raised to 3, if it goes minus 3, it will goes above, it will become 10 raised 4 in 40 into 10 raised to 3, or I can write it as 4 into 10 raised to 4, both are same. 40 into 10 raised to 3 is also same, 4 into 10 raised to 4 is also same. Therefore directly I have written here 4 into 10 raised to 4, right? So further 1.05 minus 0.0059 divided by 2. So if I divide this value, I will get 0.02955. I'll get, so 0.059 divided by 2, I will get 0.002955, and I will split into two values, log of A into 10 raised to 4. Log of A into 10 raised to 4, I can write it as log of 4 plus log of 10 raised to 4. Log of 4 plus log of 10 raised to 4. So therefore 1.05 minus 0.02955, and here log of 4, this is a constant value, that is 0.6021, because log of 2 is 0.3010. Always remember that is a standard value. Log of 2 is nothing but 0.3010, and log of 4 is 0.6021, plus log of 10 raised to 4 is 4. Log of 10 raised to 4, because we know that log of e raised to x is equal to x. So therefore log of e raised to x is equal to x, log of 10 raised to x is equal to x. So therefore that is 0.6021 plus 4, that will be equal to, if I calculate with the calci, the overall value will be 0.914 volt. Like this you have to calculate, right? So observe this problem twice or thrice, so you will understand. So first important thing is you must know the formula. Next is substitution, and the most important thing here is you have to observe the coefficient. Whenever you observe the coefficient, you have to mention them in the terms of powers. Then further there is an calculation with the help of log. You must know some log constant values like log of 2, log of 4, log of 5, log of 10, like this. You must know some standard value. So therefore log of 4 is equal to 0.6021, and log of 10 raised to 4 is nothing but 4. So on further calculation with the help of calculator, you will get 0.914 volt, right? So that is the overall value of calculation of total EMF of the cell for the given reaction. Okay, we'll go for the third problem. Next problem, that is calculate, that is delta G naught for the reaction. That reaction is Zn plus 2 moles of Ag plus 2, sorry, Ag plus will convert into Zn plus 2 moles of Ag. Very simple. Zinc plus 2 moles of Ag plus will convert into zinc plus 2 Ag, and they have also given EMF of the cell, that is E naught of the cell is equal to 1.56 volt, and Faraday value is equal to 96,500 coulombs per mole. Right, so this value they have given, and further with the help of formula, so we can calculate. So for the calculation of delta naught, already we have calculated delta G naught is equal to minus N F into E naught of the cell. So therefore that is minus 2, because here you can observe zinc is converting into zinc plus 2. There is a difference of 2 electron. Even 2 moles of Ag plus will convert into 2 Ag. There is also a difference of 2 electron. So therefore there is a 2 into 96,500, right? So into 1.56, right? So therefore the total value is minus 301.08 kilojoules, right? So that is the calculation of delta G naught, right? So even this can be asked for 2 marks in our annual examination, right? So we'll solve fourth one, right? So I will solve one more problem, and the next problem I will give as a homework for you. Find the value of delta G naught at 25 degrees Celsius for a electrochemical cell that is Cu bar Cu plus 2, that is half cell having the concentration of 1 m, and there is a salt bridge between the two electrodes, that is Ag plus 2 half cells, that is Ag having the concentration of 1 m, both are having the concentration of 1 m, and E naught of this cell, that is equal to plus 0.34 volt, and E naught of Ag, that silver, is equal to plus 0.8 volt, and they have also given the Faraday value, that is equal to 96,487 coulomb. Exact value they have given. You can also take 96,500, but whenever they give the specific value, you must take the same value, right? So here you can observe, find the value of a delta G naught at the temperature 25 degree. There is nothing to do with the temperature, because in our formula there is no need of temperature, right? So here there is nothing to do with the temperature. Just remember, so that's for the confusion, that's for the sake of confusion they have given. There is no need of temperature for this formula. Find the delta G naught value for the electrochemical cell, and they have given the concentration 1 molar, and E naught of the cell they have given, that is 0.34 volt, and E naught of silver 1 half cell they have given, that is 0.8 volt. And we have to calculate, first to calculate the total E naught of the cell. Right, so this is for copper, sorry, this is not E naught of copper is equal to, right? So it is not E naught of the cell, so that is E naught of copper plus is equal to 0.34 volt. They have given two values. So the half cell, that is copper half cell, has the EMF of 0.34 volt, and the silver has the EMF of 0.8 volts, right? So to calculate the delta G naught, that is equal to minus NF into E naught of the cell, right? So to calculate this delta G naught, we must know the E naught of the cell, but here in the problematic they haven't given any kind of E naught of the cell. First we have to calculate the E naught of the cell, right? So to calculate this value, first we have to go for the formula, that is E naught of the cell. First we must calculate the E naught of the cell. We know that E naught of the cell is equal to E right minus E left. Initially we have seen in case of Nernst equation, the total EMF of the cell can be calculated as the subtraction of right electrode minus subtraction of left electrode, that is E right minus E left. In this both, the right electrode is silver and the left electrode is copper. So therefore the value of right electrode is 0.8 minus left electrode is 0.34, and the total value is 0.46 volt. Now we got the E naught of the cell, right? So further, when we got the E naught of the cell, we must go for our formula, that is delta G naught is equal to minus NF into E naught of the cell. So therefore the number of electrons transferred here. Cu is converted into Cu plus 2 electrons. Ag plus is converted into Ag. So here we have to take it as 2 moles. So therefore it is minus, right? So that is 2 into Faraday value is 96,487. They have given the exact value into E naught of the cell we have calculated, that I will substitute here, that is 0.46. So that is equal to minus 88,768.04 joules. That is calculated with the help of calculator, 88,768.04 joules, right? So that is the value for the calculation of delta G naught in the reaction, right? So very simple. These kind of questions may be asked even in case of your CET also. Be careful with the formula. So that is calculation of delta G naught during the reaction. So here there is no need of temperature during the reaction, just it is completely based on the EMF of the cell. So they haven't given any kind of E naught of the cell. First we have to calculate the E naught of the cell by subtracting right electrode minus left electrode. Here E naught of the copper they have given 0.34 volt and E naught of silver they have given 0.8 volt. Whenever you minus, E naught of the cell is equal to E right minus E left, that is 0.8 minus 0.34. E naught of the cell is equal to 0.46. Whenever you calculate the E naught of cell, we'll go for the actual formula, that is calculation of delta G naught is equal to minus NF into E naught of the cell. So if you substitute the values, minus 2 into Faraday value into the calculated E naught of the cell, you will get minus 88,768.04 joules, right? So these are the some of the important for your syllabus and even for your annual examination on the basis of this electrochemistry chapter, right? So I will give 1 or 2 problems for your homework also. Please try them and solve them, as well as send me through your WhatsApp, right? So we'll stop here and we'll complete this chapter. In the next class we'll go with a new chapter, whether we'll go with the haloalkanes or haloarenes, or we'll go for chemical kinetics also. Thanks for joining. We'll continue in the next class.